Hello. हेलो
हेलो
जी सर, लाइव कर दीजिए, इतनी देर से बैठे हुए हैं।
मैम आप लाइव हो?
क्या? ओह, अच्छा ठीक, सॉरी। ऑलराइट, गुड आफ्टरनून. Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, Kimti, Muskan, Anshika, Bhavna, Aditya, Vaibhav, Kashish, Bhavya, Rupali, Snehal, Chetna. Hello. So before we start, can someone tell me what's the difference between a monologue and a dialogue? Something that we did in the last class. What's the difference between a monologue and a dialogue? Anyone? Hello, Parvez, Aparna, Trisha, Gautam, Dipanshi, Nandini, Sapna, Danish, Shruti, Rohit. Hi. So I was asking what's the difference between a monologue and a dialogue? Anyone? Hello, Anshika and Sojal. Monologue and a dialogue. Hmm? Monologue is them to you or you to them, Manish? Yeah. What's the difference between the monologue and a dialogue? Monologue is presented by a single person and dialogue is between more than one person. Says Mannat. Dialogue is between two persons. Snehal, okay. Dialogue is one to another. Manish, okay. Good afternoon, Nikita. Monologue when only I speak. Kimti, okay. Good. Monologue is when a person is delivering or saying, but dialogue is more like a conversation between two. Good, Rupali. Tanya. Monologue is one-sided conversation, is one speech, and dialogue is two-way speech. Okay, Shruti. Muskan is one-sided conversation, one dialogue is two-sided, involves more than two. Muskan, okay, good. It's like speech. Okay, all right, so good. So you remember what we did, all right? And we also did the advantages and the disadvantages of oral communication, where, hello, Kajal. Anyone who can remember the the advantages of oral communication? Why do we use oral communication in most cases and not written communication? Good, Kimti. Good afternoon, Kajal. Good afternoon, Akshita. Why do we use oral communication in most cases and not written communication? Okay, Muskan. Why is oral communication used more than written communication? Anyone? One line answers are accepted. Yeah. Okay, I've asked a different question now. It is cost effective, Shruti, very good. Easier, time saving, fast and spontaneous. It's faster, Aditya, very good. Mannat, Shruti, Poonam, Aditya, very good. Bhavna, Tanya, Kanika, Nikhil, Mannat, Shruti, okay. Okay, Vaibhav, all right. Vaibhav, we have changed the question now. Poonam, Tanya, Simran, good afternoon, Simran. Snehal, Bhavna, Aditya, Rahul, Chetna. What is lack of education, Rahul? I'm sure you mean by people who do not have lack of education can also communicate. All right. Chandni, yes, good. Kimti, good. Siddharth, yes. Dipanshu, ma'am. Chicken the president is also good. Yes, yes. Yes, it is oral communication, what we are doing right now. And what you are doing is written communication. Because it's spontaneous. Snehal, Anshika, Kajal, Muskan, Kajal. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Tisha, Anshika. All right. Good afternoon, Pranav. All right. Good. Okay. 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 All right. So we have done a bit of recapitulation from the last class. So let's move on to the topic that we are doing today. Hope the screen is visible. So we'll be doing speaking skills again. This is part two, and the first we did the advantages and the disadvantages of oral communication, and we looked at dialogue and monologue. And today we're going to do what are listening skills and group discussion. All right. So let's move on to listening skills first. So, what is listening? Listening is about asking relevant questions and having an eye contact of at least 30 to 60%. Your body language should always be in accordance with your material that you are using to speak or whatever that you're speaking. Then nodding, right? You are nodding to show that you understand what the other person has to say. Then paralinguistic features. Paralinguistic features are, of course, what, okay. So they should be, or they are a part of your listening skills. Then what are good listening skills? Good listening skills is when if someone is speaking, stop talking and listen to what he or she has to say. Listen for emotion as well as fact. Is the person angry? Is it getting reflected in his words, or is he sad? Look for it. Look for his emotions. Look for what he is feeling, right? Put your own issues aside. If anyone comes to speak to you, put your beliefs or your attitudes or your opinion about anything or anyone aside and listen to what he she has to say. Then put the talker at ease, right? Always make sure whenever a person is speaking to you, make him as much as comfortable as possible so that he can speak freely with you. Look and act interested. Whenever someone is speaking to you or talking to you, make him show that you are interested. Make him feel that you understand what he is going through. Then remove distractions. Remove any kind of distractions. Like right now, stop using your Instagram. Stop sending it that story on Snapchat. Listen to what your teacher has to say. Okay? Then try to put yourself in the talker's place. Try to understand where the speaker is coming from. Why is he speaking? Why is he talking like this? And what is he talking about? Where is he coming from? Then allow plenty of time. If someone has to speak, give them time. Give them time to express what they are feeling. Then keep a check on your temper. Do not get angry. Do not feel sad. Do not feel depressed. Do not feel temperamental and then storm out of the class if you're angry with your friend. No, don't do that. Listen always. Then do not argue or criticize. Do not argue or criticize with anyone if you cannot understand what they have to say. Right? Then ask a question to clarify points. If someone says anything and if you didn't understand what they had to say, then clarify it. Tell them to repeat it for you and they will repeat it. Then listen for what is said as well as what is said. Not said. Always look for these clues about is he lying? Is he really like this? Is he really going to come up to me and talk about this? Listen for those clues. Then ask searching but objective questions. If someone answers you, look for any questions that may be of interest to the other person, that may add to the other person's idea, but do not ask questions that make the other person uncomfortable. All right, then group discussion. We'll move on to the group discussion. The screen is not visible. This is okay. Let me share it again. Now is it visible? Now is it visible? Quickly, a yes or no? Now is it visible? Some saying it's visible, some saying it's not. How's it possible? Is it visible now? Is it visible now? Yeah, I'm just asking, just give me 2 minutes. Yeah, I'm just trying to ask the technically. Hello? Hello, sir? Rahul, sir? Hello? Hello? Sir? Hello? Let's figure out again. I'll just share the screen again.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry. आनंद
जी
बोल रहा हूँ मैम.
अच्छा सर, वो स्क्रीन शो हो रही है क्या? मैं 2-3 बार शेयर कर चुकी हूँ.
यस मैम मैं कर देता हूँ शेयर ना. ओके, शेयर हो गई मैम. थैंक यू.
हो गई. इज इट विजिबल नाउ?
यस मैम.
नहीं, मैं बच्चों से पूछ रही हूँ. 2 मिनट रुक जाए.
ओके.
बताओ, टेल मी, इज इट विजिबल? गाइस जस्ट टेल मी क्विकली इफ द स्क्रीन. नो, वो अभी भी कह रहे हैं कि नहीं है. और ये रेड वो दिखा भी रहा है कि वो शेयर हो रहा है. मैं दोबारा करती हूँ. Is it visible now? Quickly? Yes? Now it's visible? हाँ ठीक है सर, ठीक है, visible है. Okay, all right. Okay, so let's do group discussion now. So what is group discussion? I'm sure you must be aware of what group discussion is. You must have seen a lot of people, your elder siblings or your uncles, your cousins go through this, especially tell you horror tales of it if they had a group discussion as part of the selection process in the job interviews, right? So a lot of these organizations have group discussion, right? There are not necessarily horror tales, but yeah, it can be a little intimidating for sure. All right, so let's see what a group discussion is. A group discussion is a group activity selection process, which the employers use to gauge certain personality traits of prospective candidates. Group discussion involves interactive communication among group of people bound by a given or a chosen topic. When the employers select a candidate, they look for leadership skills, group management or team working skills, communication skills, reasoning ability, analytical ability, logical and coherent thinking, adaptability and flexibility, positive mental outlook, decent and professional dressing, grooming sense, assertive body language, and projection of a distinctively likable personality. Right? So these are the things they want to see in their employee. These personality traits that are important. Then group discussion offers an easy way to evaluate and eliminate several candidates simultaneously, unlike what we'll see in interviews, that you have to speak to one person at a time. Whereas in group discussion, you can put 5 to 10 or more prospective employees together and then select them, evaluate them, select them or eliminate them. Then, unlike cumbersome efforts taken in written tests such as setting of question papers, correcting huge numbers of scripts, group discussion demands no prior work. The only work that needs to be done is finalizing a topic, right? So unlike interviews or paper setting, you can have a group discussion with students or with employees to know how well they are, not like how knowledgeable they are about a particular topic, or are they well suited to the organization or not, right? And some expect personality traits that people are looking for in an employee, in a prospective employee, are leadership skills, group management or team working skills, communication skills, reasoning ability, analytical ability, logical and coherent thinking, adaptability and flexibility, positive mental outlook, decent and professional dressing or grooming sense, assertive body language, projection of a distinctively likable personality. All right. And what are these skills that you require for in a GD? It is very important to listen to what others have to say about the topic so that the discussion continues, right? So because you are a group of like 5 or more than 10 people or persons, you need to be very careful about listening to what the other person has to say before saying anything out loud. Then one should say things in a clear, concise, and straightforward manner, and then look for others' responses and opinions on your views, and if necessary, ready to defend your point, right? So if you are willing to add something to the group, then say it in a very clear, concise, and straightforward manner, and look for the responses on your view Okay, ready to defend the point, ready to defend the opinion that you have put forward. In a GD, it is evident that there will be many views which will be diametrically opposite to each other, and the leader will be the one who will be able to comprehend these views together to come up with a possible direction of the discussion. There may be some participants in a GD who is or are not as vocal as the rest. A leader would also ask for their opinion so as to make them a part of the discussion. So, for example, you are in an organization and you have to plan some kind of an activity, right? So, you as a team manager can take on the position of a leader while talking to everyone else, right? As students, what you can do is if you have to organize an event at the student level, right, for commerce students, right, and you have to invite English, you have to invite history, psychology, and other streams as well. So what you will do it in amongst your group, you will choose a particular leader. You will choose a leader that will represent the commerce group, and that leader will talk to everyone else in the group, will ask for their opinions, their ideas, and their thoughts, and then the group will make a decision, right? Then, in other words, a leader's role in a GD is to control the discussion and give it a direction by accommodating other views and reach a conclusion. So, a leader is also a moderator. He not only understands everyone's points of views and collects them, but he also moderates the discussion, trying to move forward the idea or the thought that he might think is worth discussing or talking about. Right? Just a second. Yeah. Yeah. Then clarity of ideas and presentation skills is a must in a GD. And one should be able to quickly make a distinction between core and non-core ideas, issues in the discussion, and focus on the core issues. Like I said, if you are having a group discussion with your commerce mates and it is about organizing an event, so you cannot just start talking about class mein ye hua tha, class mein hua tha. No, you are there for a reason, and that is to organize an event. So your energy should be focused on that particular topic. You cannot just go on adding things that do not matter to the discussion. Then analytical abilities are also looked for in a GD. One should be able to analyze a topic in its minutest details. So if you are interviewing for a position in an organization, they will see how well you are how well spoken you are, that's another thing, but how knowledgeable you are about a particular topic, right? How up to date you are with the current affairs, or how much you know about the thing that you are interviewing for. It can be anything. It can be a position for anything. So how well do you know your job? That is what they need to look at, right? And so therefore the answers that you will be giving, the replies that you will be giving to the other members in the group discussion should reflect that depth, that maturity, that sensitivity, that sensibility also in your answers, right? Then non-verbal communication. Wherever you're going to read about communication, you will be talking about non-verbal communication, about how gestures, your eye contact, your posture is very important in communication. So non-verbal communication is also significant in the GD. Body language is of concern, as it is the body language which will show one's conviction in what he or she is speaking, how attentive one is to others' views, how flexible one is to others' opinions and views, right? So what do we see? Sometimes people get really aggressive, they get really aggressive, they get up and start shouting and, you know, just start doing all of this to the other person. You do not need to do that. You cannot intimidate the other person. What you need to do is calmly present your point. You cannot just sit scared in a chair and respond to someone. No. What you're expected is to show a kind of a confidence. You need to show that maturity that you can answer the other person if he or she is a stranger as well, right? Then one needs to lead a group of participants in a GD, but that can happen only when one has a thorough knowledge about the subject on which the discussion is taking place, right? So the moderator or the leader that is in the GD needs to have some prior experience to it. He cannot just be a leader because he is chosen to be. But the thing is that you need to look at the background. Has he led a lot of meetings? Has he a lot of knowledge in that topic? Has he a lot of experience in moderating discussions? So you need to look at all of this before choosing this person or that person as a leader. Then not establishing proper eye contact during a group discussion round is a clear indication that you lack confidence and purpose, right? So a very, very important point about this is whenever you're part of a discussion, you're responding to the people around you, or anything for that matter, you should always maintain the eye contact with the person you're speaking to, because it shows a kind of a respect, it shows a kind of a consideration that you are talking to the other person. And if you do not maintain this level of eye contact, it shows that you're shy, it shows that you're scared, frightened, or you're fidgety, you're not sure about the answer. This unsure attitude that will come across. Then it is extremely important to be attentive throughout the group discussion process. Pay full attention to what other people are saying, listen attentively, and reply accordingly. All right, so let's move on to the advantages and the disadvantages of group discussion. So far, I hope it is clear. What has been shared? English AECC? Okay. Ma'am, this is a link for SOL previous classes. Okay. Yeah, sure, Ruchi, I'll just take you through. Yeah. Okay. So far so clear. I'm sure you have used group discussion as part of your Vaishali, is it like a personal channel, or is it an official channel? Because if it's being uploaded on a personal channel, then there is a breach of information. What is it called? Yeah, so that's a copyright strike can be issued because it's a personal property of the institution. Vaishali. Okay. All right then. Yeah. Then let's move on to the advantages of group discussion. What are the advantages of having a group discussion or organizing a group discussion as part of the selection process or as part of a process that needs, for example, if you need to decide something, right? Like we're saying, organizing an event. So let's decide on who's going to do what. Let's delegate the responsibility. So the first advantage is, as a group has a lot of members and they are individuals coming from different backgrounds, so ultimately they have unique and different ideas and opinions regarding the matter at the hand. All the ideas may be as unique and better in comparison to individual decision making. As a group has a lot of members, of course, like I've said, that if you're organizing, if you're organizing from different backgrounds, if you're organizing an event from an event, and you try to bring as many classmates as possible to discuss about how you're going to go about it. So they're coming, all of them are coming from different backgrounds. They're coming with their own ideas, their own skill set, their own thoughts, and so it's a very good way to bring all of these new ideas together, right? Someone can say that, I can do this, I can paint, I can do artwork and all of that. So you have a lot of advantage when it comes to group discussions, that you can meet a lot of people from different backgrounds, right? Then when a person is dedicated and interested, it promotes more innovative ideas and places, which makes decisions promising. When interested people share their ideas, the group discussion more actively participates and is effective, right? It is only effective when more and more participants in the group discussion are allowed to speak what's on their mind, are allowed to share their opinions, their thoughts, their ideas, right? So it promotes a sense of unity, definitely, and it promotes a sense of innovative thinking amongst the group members, right? Then acceptance of the suggestion and opinions bring motivation and eagerness to the participants within the group, thus generating a quality decision, right? So for example, if you're all coming together to discuss about what you have to give to your friend Shikha on her birthday, right? You all come up with your own ideas, and then one of you comes up, what she was asking, that she was saying that my watch just recently got like damaged due to water or rainfall or whatever. And wow, I'm getting really bad examples right now. Sorry. So yeah, so my watch got damaged and I'm looking for a new watch. So one of you actually heard it, so you brought it in that group discussion. So Shikha wants a new watch, so why not gift her a good watch, right? So it's a good way to show that you care about the other person, and it's a good way to show that everyone had put in their ideas and the best one came forward, right? So acceptance of the suggestion and opinions bring motivation and eagerness to the participants within the group. This generates a quality decision. You all decided about, let's give her something that she needs, right? Something that's going to help her, right? So all of you came up with your own ideas, and lastly it was decided that a watch will be gifted. So a quality decision was being made because all of you came together with your thoughts and the best idea was selected, right? Then the group discussion helps in removing the barrier of monopoly in the decision making process. At times, if a decision happens by a single individual, it becomes reliable, right? Hence, with the help of having a collective idea, choose the factor of unreliability is removed, right? So for example, if we do not have a group discussion and we go ahead with a decision that's perhaps made by our fellow colleague or with the team manager, then it may seem unreliable. It may not sit comfortably with the rest of the crowd. So it's always good to have a democratic process which involves everyone coming together with their ideas, and amongst those ideas that are presented, a good idea is being good, will be selected, and then it will be exercised, right? Then active participation from all the individuals of the group helps in building the morale of the team and builds a healthy and a coordinative relationship among the members of the team of the particular group. When you're coming together, when you're discussing about idea, when you're discussing about things that matter to you, about how things need to go forward, it not only boosts the morale of everyone, but it's also going to lead the company in the right direction, right? The employers are going to be happy. It's going to build relationships, happy coordinative relationships among the organization, because you know that you have put for your best foot forward. You know that your opinion matters, and the company is hearing you out. The organization hears you out, right? So it builds the morale, and it helps create a healthy and a coordinative atmosphere amongst the employees. Then the group decision making process is more of a collective participation. So it is in turn democratic in comparison to the individual decision making, which is autocratic. Like I've already discussed, that if one person is to make a decision, then it might be problematic, it might be questioned, and it might be more personal, right? Therefore, a group discussion will facilitate the idea that everyone came forward and made the decision. So it's a more of a democratic process. Then when a group is sharing their ideas and opinions, it passes more information and some ideas compared to the individual decision makers who will have limited ideas, confined to his or her limited knowledge only. So group decision making or group discussion is far more of an advantage and beneficial in making a clear and accurate or definite decision that will affect the result of the plan. Right, like we have already discussed, that if a leader is also selected, he or she will come with his own ideas and thoughts, and he will put across his opinion. But when he hears the other person say, when he hears his peers, his colleagues talk about newer things, then his mind might change, right? He might explore new ideas and possibilities, and that is what is a good advantage, right? Then group discussion is a process where a large number of ideas are put forth in front of the group, and a decision needs to make which will come in favor of both the individual and the firm. For this, the verdict will be decided. Voting is used to come to a common outcome acceptable for all members. So if you have a lot of ideas in place, if you have a lot of ideas, and out of a group discussion that needs to be discussed, then it's always good. Sorry, they need to be worked upon or taken action on. Then you can have a voting idea to vote for something that's really good, right? That's the best. No, Vaishali, I was saying, is it the channel of SOL? If it is not, then you are under misuse of privilege. Vaishali, just make sure if it is not the official channel of SOL, because I know what the official channel of SOL is. If it's not, then I'm sorry, then you are, I don't know what it is. It's called infringement of something. I'm not really sure of that term, but if it's not, then you have to take it down. Kim, the coherent thing is that you're thinking clearly. You're thinking clearly. Okay, so now let's move on to the disadvantages of a group discussion. So what are the disadvantages of a group discussion? Just a second. The disadvantages of a group discussion. The group discussion making techniques often the Sorry. The group discussion making techniques often consume and take more time to come to a conclusion which is accepted by each individual in the group, as every individual in the group has their own unique and innovative ideas, which result in having too many opinions in consideration. But definitely when you are having a group discussion, it can last a bit longer than other other activities, because a lot of people come together and a lot of opinions are to be shared. So it can be a little longer than expected. You can go for example, if you decided to have the discussion in an hour, it can go up to two and a half hours also, because a lot of opinions are to be shared, and then you have to come and then you have to decide what is the best way to take forward, right? So it is a time taking process as well. Then in the group discussion, all the participants involved have their ideas, which are their favorites. Of course, something that we all do, and which in turn protects their interests. This brings disparities among the members of in the group, which is not very healthy, leading to personal conflicts among them. So a lot of times it happens in an organization that you have these camps, that you have these groups that are formed, and if they come across and if they are part of a group discussion, then they will speak or they will use their opinion to their own personal advantage, right? So in a way they are going to be protecting themselves, right? You can have a group discussion on something that benefits certain employees, or it does not benefit certain employees, right? So a lot of these group discussions can be in a way be rigged. They can be swayed in the wrong direction, especially when a wrong opinion has been put forward and then has been worked upon. Then at times when the decision process in groups is being carried out, some members agree in favor of a certain decision just for agreeing or following the norms agreement. An individual may agree to the point by not standing up a firm or his opinion, which may contradict the opposite person's opinion. This discourages the person to make quality ideas and opinions and standing up firm to his decision, right? So a lot of time it happens that if your manager puts forth an idea, then his team will support his idea, right? They will go out of their way to support him, even if they don't like it, right? So even if your friend is part of a discussion, you will go out of your way to accept that, right? Whatever opinion that he puts forward. So that can be partial, that can be problematic, because you are in a way, hiding behind someone else's opinion, and it can be considered that the manager is raking in a lot of favor. It's he's raking in a lot of favor, right? By doing so, by telling his subordinates to support his ideas, to support his views. So if I am sure this is something that's quite that is frowned upon, but it is quite the nature of many organizations, is it not? I'm sure we have heard stories from our siblings or like our people in the family. When an individual of the group remains silent at the time of the decision-making process, one of the reasons may be the social pressures in that particular environment. Thus, this leads to the failure of being a good member. Of course, there will be a lot of social pressures, like we have said. It's connected to the idea that if the boss is making in favors, then of course his subordinates will be supporting him. And there are other social pressures as well. The social pressures can be if you do not support your manager's ideas, then he might fire you, he might remove you from the position, he might shift you from his department, right? Similarly, if you do not support the leader that you are backing up right now, then he or she will wreak havoc, right? So a lot of these things can happen. There are a lot of social pressures that may be involved in a group discussion process, right? Then some ideas are presented within the group. At times, the members of the group may only focus on a certain ideas, a certain number of ideas, one or two Sorry. Just a second. Just a second. Yeah. Sorry. What was I saying? Yeah, so some ideas are presented within the group. At times, the members of the group may only focus on a certain number of ideas, one or two alternatives only, and then they may not focus on or come up with the other ideas that may benefit their group and the individual it represents. Thus, it causes all of the members of the group to limit their choices and stick to only a few ideas, right? For example, if you're organizing an intercollegiate debate event, and you start by saying let's involve everyone, right? Let's involve all the colleges in Delhi University, but then soon someone says that that will be a lot. Why don't we just do North Campus, or why do we not do just South Campus or the off campus colleges, right? So as and when you keep on suggesting, the things get streamlined, but as they get streamlined, then you're losing a lot of opinions as well, right? And if you're losing a lot of opinions, then it may benefit your whole decision making process, and it can also not benefit it, because you are in a way eliminating a lot of important ideas like that, right? So this is another disadvantage where you are gaining something, but you're also losing valuable input. You're losing valuable opinions of the other members in the group discussion. Then, when the decisions are made by the group, the factor of risk bearing will always arise. So, at times, the group may opt for proceeding towards taking less risk, or towards taking more risk for the group as a whole, right? So, because a lot of people come forth with new ideas and the group discusses that yes, this might be a good idea, so it can be risky, because though everyone has agreed to it, for example, this intercollegiate event that I'm talking about as an example, you can be a bit too ambitious, right? You can be ambitious and you'll be like, yeah, sabko bula lo, right? But at the end, it doesn't make sense. It won't make sense because you do not have that much of a team. You do not have that much of resources to organize an event of that big of a nature, right? So you have to be very careful about the decision that is coming out of the group discussion. Is it practical enough? Is it realistic enough? Is it going to make sense, or is it good for the future of the organization, right? So it is definitely going to take the idea of risk very seriously. It comes with its own risks. I mean, sorry. Yeah. Then when the decision process when the decision making process hold in the group some is held in the group, some decisions give more or high in priority, and some decisions are of low priority in the eyes of the members of the group. So sometimes certain high priority tasks are replaced with low priority tasks. Like I have said that, for example, if you are if you are organizing an event at the student level, right, and you start to discuss about a debate that you'll be organizing, but that takes on a secondary role. What you end up discussing is aaj lunch mein kya khana hai, right? So what happens is that your main idea, the reason that you are all together and you need to have a discussion, that you forget that and you start discussing what's there for lunch, what are we going to have for lunch, let everyone come with their own ideas, right? So you have to be very, very careful of the time management, the idea that whatever that you're discussing or whatever that you're talking is prioritized, right? Why are you having a group discussion in the first place? What are the priorities, right? What needs to be discussed? What is going to come out of the GD? right? And what are the things that you should have eliminated within the GD, and they shouldn't have been discussed a lot, and you may have wasted a lot of time, right? So the moderator should be knowledgeable enough, the moderator should be considerate enough to hear a lot of ideas, the thoughts that are presented to him, but he or she should also be very careful of choosing the ideas that are high in priority and low in risk. All right. So let's see, what did we do in today's class? We looked at listening. We looked at what is listening and what involves listening. And then we looked at the, and then we moved on to group discussion, where we looked at what group discussion is. It's a group interactive selection process where the candidates are looked on, where the candidates are evaluated based on these personality traits, which include leadership skills, team working skills, communication skills, reasoning, analytical abilities, logical coherent thinking, adaptability, mental outlook, assertive body language, and a likable personality. A group discussion allows for the selection, evaluation, and also elimination of candidates in a quick and effective fashion. Then, what are the skills that are required for a GD? Good listening skills. You need to be clear, concise, and straightforward. You need to have the ability to put your opinion or your thought forth, despite of the fact that it may be diametrically opposite to what is being talked about, right? You need to be vocal. You cannot be shy. You cannot be intimidated by the members around you. The leader or the moderator should have good knowledge over the topic that is being discussed. The clarity of ideas is something that is equally important. How clear are you with the ideas that are being presented? The presentation skills of the ideas should be important too. That the way that you are presenting the topic, is it good enough? Sorry, yeah. Then analytical abilities and non-verbal communication, your posture, your body language should be in accordance with what you're speaking. Then eye contact, try to maintain eye contact with everyone that you're replying to, and be attentive, know what is being talked about, and then respond accordingly. Then advantages of group discussion. Advantage of group discussion is that whenever a lot of individuals come by, unique ideas are always going to be shared. It promotes a kind of an innovation. It promotes an idea that encourages innovation and inclusivity. Then acceptance of suggestion and opinions bring motivation and eagerness, which helps aid in a qualitative decision process. Then it removes the barrier of monopoly. It democratizes the entire process, helps in building coordinative relationships. It is again democratic in the way the decision making will be. Sorry, just a second. Yeah, so it will be democratic in the way the decision is to be made. Then a lot of information and the ideas can be shared, but the moderator needs to know which is the best idea, and he needs to take it forward. Then you can have a voting to even further solidify the democratic aspect of the decision making process. The disadvantages are, of course, it's a very time taking activity. It can lead to certain partial or biases within the decision making process, where people are supporting other persons that they think may end up favoring them. So sometimes it happens that the members are sometimes the social pressures on a member can stop him or her from expressing their opinions. Then some ideas that may be presented may be risky, right? They may be risky. And then lastly, some ideas which are good may be forgotten due to the fact that the other ideas were brought forth, and somehow the priority got missed, right? You didn't understand what was important and what wasn't, so you wasted a lot of time there. All right, so this is a group discussion, and then we will move on to the last part of speaking skills, and then we'll start a new unit. Shivam, monologue and dialogue is was completed in the last class. Yeah. Keemti, from this particular chapter, of course, you can get a longish theoretical question about what is a group discussion and what are the advantages or disadvantages of a group discussion. For contacting me, you are part of a group. Remember, I showed you on Microsoft Teams that you are all part of a group. So if you have any questions, you can contact me on that Microsoft Teams group that the technical team has so wonderfully made for our communication, or else you can contact me here. That's the reason why we have this particular bar, right, for you to ask questions. Shivam, they have been explained, like I've just told you that they were completed in the last class. Rishabh, there is no classroom Google link or something. This is the link. Let me just show you again once more that you're all part of a BCom group, and you can ask questions over there. Yeah. So for example, if you open the Teams app on your laptop, then you will find these groups, these teams, and you are all part of this particular team. So you can chat on it, you can ask questions. No, sorry, this is BA program. So this is BCom, yeah. What happened? Oh, sorry, this is English team. Why do I think there's something wrong with my mouse, sorry. So this is BCom Honors Semester 22. So you're all part of this particular group, and use this group to exchange information. Rishabh, go on to open the Microsoft Teams app on your laptop. Use it on your laptop, and then you can see the Teams. Ruji, guys, please open the Microsoft Teams on your laptop, and on the left-hand side, you can click Teams. If you're not part of the group, then ask the friends who are part of the group, because if you're using, names like anonymous, then nobody will know who you are, obviously. So none of your friends can add you over there. I don't understand what's with the secrecy when you are all part of a class. You don't need to find a link. You just need to open Microsoft Teams on your desktop, and you can find the Teams on the left-hand side of your screen. All right, then. Okay, then I'll see you in the next class. And in the meantime, why don't you have a look at the previous 10 years? I told you to contact your seniors and ask them if they have any access to the previous papers. I think, by the way, the SOL also has previous years papers uploaded on the website. So have a look at that. All right. Then let's meet in the next class. Yeah, Keemti, it's on the left-hand side on the Teams. So you have groups, you have calendar, you have Teams. Click on that. All right, then. I'll see you in the next class. Bye-bye.